Caitlin Clark's the new it. If you don't have a long ball, talking about the 26, 30 feet, if you ain't doing the Steph Curry, if you ain't got none of that long ball in your game, yeah, you're going to be behind.
She's doing like, damn.
If you've been paying attention to basketball lately, you know one thing for sure. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rising star. She's a supernova. She's changing the way people look at the women's game, and her impact is undeniable. Even NBA icons, legends who know every inch of the hardwood, are openly amazed by her brilliance. Thanks to Caitlin's electric play and massive popularity, the buzz around the WNBA has never been louder. But just when you thought the hype had peaked, the most iconic figure in basketball history stepped into the conversation. Michael Jordan has officially spoken, and what he said about Caitlin Clark is a game changer. His words weren't just complimentary, they carried weight, as only MJ's words can. His praise confirmed what fans already feel. Caitlin Clark is something truly special, and he's not the only legend stepping up. NBA Hall of Famer Rick Barry also came to Clark's defense, and he didn't hold back. In a bold and passionate statement, Barry called out the wave of negativity Clark has faced from some WNBA players. To him, it all boils down to one thing: jealousy. Jealousy of her talent, her spotlight, and her undeniable impact on the game. Barry's message was clear and powerful. Caitlin Clark deserves every bit of respect she's earned. For the critics, his words serve as a wake-up call. For the fans, it's validation from the highest levels of basketball.
I think it's reprehensible what they're allowing some of these players. Anybody that does something flagrant to this young lady for what she's brought to the game should be suspended and fined big time for doing that.
WNBA legend George Gervin has also joined the chorus of voices standing up for Caitlin Clark, and his words carried serious weight. Gervin didn't hold back when addressing the wave of disrespect aimed at Clark. In his eyes, her talent shouldn't be questioned. It should be celebrated. His statement was bold and unmistakable, delivering a clear message to every doubter. Caitlin Clark's greatness isn't up for debate. She's here, she's shining, and even basketball royalty sees it. When legends like Gervin speak, the game listens. And his defense of Clark was more than just support. It was a call for respect that echoed across the basketball world.
They don't know the value that she's bringing for all of them. She bringing, they flying private planes now. They weren't flying private before she came. They on major networks now. They weren't doing that. See, she remind me of Tiger Woods for golf.
Yeah. Sometimes the most unfiltered takes come from the voices that aren't constantly in the spotlight. That's why former NBA guard Jeff Teague's comments hit differently. Teague, a solid starter during his 12-year career, an NBA All-Star and a champion, never craved media attention, and that makes his opinion feel all the more real. Now, retired and speaking freely, Teague didn't hesitate to call out what he sees as unfair treatment toward Caitlin Clark. With Clark entering the WNBA carrying a massive fan base and unprecedented hype, Teague believes the league should be embracing her, not pushing back. His message was blunt, honest, and clear. Respect the star power and let the game grow.
The W.
Sure, Jeff Teague's delivery might come off a little raw, but his point is hard to argue with. After years of heated debate around the gender pay gap in sports and failed efforts to boost the WNBA's visibility, Caitlin Clark's arrival has finally moved the needle. She's brought in record-breaking attention, but the welcome she's received hasn't always matched her impact. Teague simply highlighted what many are starting to realize. That kind of resistance isn't just unfair, it's bad for business. He made it clear that Clark deserves far more support from both her peers and the league's leadership, and when it comes to media-driven tension, Celtics legend Paul Pierce hasn't exactly helped. The 10-time All-Star was one of the earliest and most vocal doubters of Clark's transition to the pros, and some of his comments sparked controversy, including racially charged backlash. Since then, Pierce has tried to walk back some of that criticism and has started offering cautious respect for Clark's game. His shift in tone became more noticeable after she was surprisingly left off the U.S. Olympic team. Here's what Pierce had to say in response to that decision, and why it marks a turning point in how even skeptics are starting to view Caitlin Clark.
You claim you want the women's game to grow, and then you keep the most popular girl in women's basketball off the team. How do you grow internationally and domestically if you don't put her on the U.S. team? It just makes the most sense. Sometimes you have to say, hey guys, this is bigger than the game, which it is. I mean, women's basketball is at an all-time high because of Caitlin Clark.
At first glance, Paul Pierce's take on Caitlin Clark missing the Olympic team sounds respectful, but dig a little deeper and the cracks start to show. While he acknowledged that Clark could have boosted the popularity of Team USA, Pierce stopped, short of giving her full credit for her basketball ability. His comments suggested that her absence wasn't a talent issue, but also hinted she didn't earn her spot purely on merit. It's a subtle jab wrapped in a compliment. Then again, Pierce has built a post-playing career on hot takes and headline-grabbing opinions. Whether he truly believes it or just wants to stay in the media spotlight is anyone's guess, but just when it seemed like the drama couldn't get any bigger, Shaquille O'Neal stepped in and stole the show. On Angel Reese's podcast, Right, in front of one of Clark's most vocal critics, Shaq delivered an unfiltered message of support. He didn't tiptoe around the topic. He called Caitlin Clark exactly what he sees her as: extraordinary. It was a jaw-dropping moment, one of the greatest to ever play the game, defending Clark in a space that's been anything but welcoming. And in that moment, even her biggest critics had no comeback. Shaq said it loud and clear, and now it's time to hear it straight from the Big Diesel himself.
And I'll just blow it like this.
Caitlin Clark's Olympic snub may have seemed like a setback, but Dwight Howard saw it differently. The NBA legend suggested it could be a blessing in disguise, giving her time to regroup and sharpen her game, and he was right. Clark used the break to level up, returning stronger and more focused in the second half of the season. In hindsight, Howard's take was spot on. What looked like a disappointment turned into a launchpad for dominance.
She is a great player, but it's a lot of players that, no lie, who, as far as basketball wise, they have the edge over her of why they should be playing in the Olympics right now. Mind you, this should motivate her. This should make her go harder in the gym. The 3 weeks that they off, she should get in better shape.
Caitlin Clark has looked like a different player since the Olympic break. More focused, more fearless. We may never know exactly how much being left off the Olympic team fueled her fire, but one thing's clear: she's found her rhythm. Dwight Howard saw what others missed. While many viewed the snub as disrespect or failure, he recognized the upside. Skipping a long trip to Paris and avoiding a bench role on a crowded roster might have been a blessing. It let Clark stay in her groove, avoid injury risk, and come back stronger. And with her talent, Dwight knew she'd seize that window to prove she belongs among the best, maybe even above some of those selected ahead of her. But with Caitlin Clark, it's never just about the moment, it's about the big picture. Hall of Fame point guard Isaiah Thomas, a two-time NBA champion and respected voice in basketball circles, understands that better than most. As a former coach and executive, Thomas knows how to see the full scope, on and off the court. When asked about Clark, he offered mostly praise, but added one surprising twist at the end.
I think it's great what she's done, and I think it's great what the media and the WNBA and marketing and the players are doing, because, controversy is not good, but, controversy sells.
Isaiah Thomas played it smart. In just one sentence, he managed to praise Caitlin Clark, acknowledge the drama around her, and subtly call out the media machine behind it all, without fanning the flames himself. Let's be honest, controversy sells. And from the moment Clark entered the WNBA, she was hit with criticism from every angle. That chaos created headlines, clicks, and endless debates. Thomas clearly sees the game behind the game, but he's too wise to fully play into it. Meanwhile, in Indiana, Clark has quickly earned the love of local fans. But when it comes to all-time hometown heroes, few can rival Reggie Miller. The legendary sharpshooter, who spent his entire 18-year career with the Pacers, is basketball royalty in Indianapolis. Naturally, fans expected him to embrace Clark as the city's new face. Instead, Miller took a tougher stance. He didn't shower her with praise. Instead, he emphasized that adversity is part of the process. In his eyes, every rookie, no matter how hyped, has to earn their stripes the hard way.
What did you expect was going to happen to her? Number one, I don't think it's jealousy. Oh my God, she's getting all the endorsements. We're going to go after her. You're playing at the highest level. You're playing in the WNBA. You're coming from college and you're going to the pro ranks, right? What did she expect was going to happen? Why are people so shocked? Right? You're playing against grown women. The same thing happened to us.
Reggie Miller comes from the rough and tumble days of the old school NBA, where hard fouls were just part of the game. So it's no surprise that his perspective leans toward the tough it out mindset. But the WNBA today is a different landscape, and what Caitlin Clark is facing goes beyond simple competition. This isn't just about earning respect. It's about navigating a wave of unnecessary hostility. Sure, no one expected veterans to roll out the red carpet, but the pushback Clark's received feels less like a rookie test and more like an effort to dim her light. Her journey is about more than proving she belongs. It's about standing firm in the face of resistance and calling for fair treatment. Someone who truly understands that broader picture? Magic Johnson. As part owner of the Los Angeles Sparks and a longtime ambassador for basketball, Magic has a front row seat to the league's evolution. When asked about Clark, he didn't just focus on her talent, he placed her within the larger context of this rookie class, offering thoughtful insight on what she represents for the future of the game.
Now, Caitlin, her teammates got to come to her defense.
Sure.
You can't allow her to have to fight every battle, right? But we have to understand that both Caitlin, Angel, and Brink, who plays for my Sparks, they made the WNBA better. And they're going to be tested by these incredible women who've been in the league for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin is the most popular WNBA player, but she's not the best at this time. Just like Larry and I were not the best when we entered the league. We became the best.
Magic Johnson made an interesting comparison between today's young WNBA stars and his legendary rivalry with Larry Bird that revived the NBA in the late 70s and early 80s. He stressed the importance of patience and teamwork, reminding everyone that these rising stars need support from their teammates to overcome obstacles and claim their place at the top. In true Magic fashion, he praised the entire rookie class without diving into the drama surrounding Caitlin Clark. Still, his high regard for Clark sends a strong message. Even veteran NBA legends with ties to rival teams recognize her talent and impact. Fans who remember Magic from his playing days know he always handled himself with class and grace, qualities not always shared by some of his peers. Take Charles Barkley, for example. Known for his physical play and fiery media appearances, Barkley is now an even bigger media personality than he was a player. The 11-time All-Star and 2-time Olympic gold medalist has weighed in on Caitlin Clark multiple times. He's mostly been supportive, like in this clip where he talks about how Clark's shooting form improved over the season.
And the thing I love about her, she never says a word. And now, when I watch her, two things I like. She's playing much faster. She was playing too slow the first half of the season.
From the college season.
They didn't even give her the understanding, like, you girls been worded for the WNBA season. Y'all been working out on the nose. She came straight out of college.
Fatigue could have been just as much a factor in Caitlin Clark's slow start as the defenses she faced. Charles Barkley noticed this too. He pointed out how Clark's energy and quickness have picked up recently, leading to more fast break chances and higher scoring for both her and her teammates. But Barkley didn't stop there. He also spoke candidly about how some of Clark's WNBA peers have treated her, and didn't hold back when calling out those who've been unfair or overly harsh.